Now, guys, it is time for
I'm going to talk dirty to you for a second. Math.
Double D's sexy numbers. What do we got this week, man?
Okay, so one of our fans sent me something over on Twitter. It was Dagan who sent me a couple of weeks ago. He wanted to know how often competitors miss the bonus question, because he started seeing a pattern in singles over the course of the month or in June, that we're seeing more and more people miss that bonus question. He expected that more people, that it was kind of expected that you would, if you get to the bonus question, you automatically got that bonus question. So let's first define what I mean by bonus, because generally speaking, there's two different definitions. Bonus could going perfect in round one could mean getting the questions in round one and getting the bonus question. It's also referred to as just getting that first 8 or 10 questions in the round one. So first, let's just define what it means first for this presentation. So we're only counting that first round one initial. So for singles, it's 8 questions. IG, it's 10. Star Wars, it's 10. And teams, it's 8 per person. So that could also mean, that could mean 16, that could mean 15, 14, whatever. But it's 8 questions per competitor. Now, unfortunately, I don't have a complete data set. So for teams, because it's pretty easy to figure out who's got bonus question right and who got perfect round one with singles, Star Wars, and IG. Teams is a bit different. So I only have data from 2020 to now. So before we go on, Dustin, what do you think are going to be the results across the whole divisions? Who do you think has the most misses? What do you think the results will be?
I would say for most misses, you would think it would have to be singles, right? I guess if I had to pick one. Again, maybe that is recency bias, because like you just said, I totally agree with Dagan, who came up with this question, is it has been a little weird, right? That we felt these bonuses aren't as automatic as they felt like last season, right? So yeah. I guess that's where I would choose.
Yeah, I initially thought that too, because I did check my numbers. There's been 6 matches where just there's just a few numbers that were increased from last year. So let's see what the final data shows. If I can just get my mouse to work. So for singles, now again, the blue represents the total number of rounds, not the total number of matches. So you would have to divide this by the number of rounds by 2. That's how many matches are. So for 96, that would be 48 matches, just to kind of give you a clarity. So the numbers that we're going to go with are the purple and the light green, and basically it's the light green divided by the magenta number. So the magenta is the total number of perfect rounds. The green is 8 points or missing the bonus question. That's basically how it is. So in 2017, there was 7 perfect rounds, and 4 of those were 8 points in singles. That's 57% rate. For 2018, there were 6 perfect rounds and 1 miss, which will result in 17 rate. With 2019, there was 21 perfect rounds and 6 that were just 8 points. That's 29% rate. 2020, we're seeing an increase in perfect rounds in 36 and only 3 misses. So that's 8% rate. And currently we have 31 perfect rounds as of right now and 7 misses, and that's 23%. So again, yes, we're seeing an increase, but that's because we're seeing more people getting perfect rounds. And as you can see, that we are starting to climb up with total rounds overall in singles. So that's why it may appear to seem like we're getting more frequency, but that's because we're seeing more matches in the singles division. So it's like, so to kind of sum this up, let's say you have 1,000 people who are blonde hair, and 10% of 1,000 people, taking a pool of 1,000 people, 10% have blonde hair. That's 100 people basically. But if you increase that for like 100,000, suddenly you have 1,000 people who have blonde hair, but it's the same percentage. So just to kind of sum that up. So for teams, again, this is only for 2020 and 2021. We're noticing a 16% rate for misses, 5 misses, and 32 that were perfect. And currently we're at 6% with 1 miss out of 18 perfect rounds. For IG, now suddenly this is actually going to be a lot smaller because there are very few matches in IG in comparison to all the other divisions. Compared to singles and teams. Sorry. So for 2017, there was a 67% rate. Now that's a little bit off because we've only had five matches total, I think. But yeah, so when you have that low of a pool, suddenly the rate is going to increase a lot, even if it is just a small amount. 0% in 2018, 0% in 2019, only 11% in 2020. We only have 1 miss out of 8 perfect rounds. And again, currently in this season, we have only 1 miss out of 7, which is a 14% rate. So Star Wars, now obviously we expect Star Wars to be perfect 100% of the time, but it's not perfect 100% of the time. Again, 2017, we had 4 perfect 1-round matches. There was 0% in 2017. We had 2 perfect rounds in 2018, but 0 misses. We've only had 1 miss in 2019 out of 6 perfect rounds, so that's 17% rate. 2020 last year, there's only been 1 miss. That's a 10% rate, and currently we only have 1%. We have 0% rate. So everyone has been perfect so far. Well, everyone who's gone perfect has made that bonus. So Dustin, what are your thoughts on this overall graphs? Did it kind of surprise you a little bit?
Yeah, it's interesting when you always put it out, right? So like it's kind of now I just have like the questions of it. You do have that thought again. There's a reason why this question was asked. It's because we've seen 2 of the or 3 of the misses in the last month, right? Which obviously, according to your graphs, is not what happens usually. And now you almost wonder. Before that, why is it always that people usually, according to the percentages, especially in the last couple of years, get the bonus, especially in teams and such? So you almost wonder: is it just based on the player because of the player that goes 8 for 8 and gets the bonus is because they're A players or top tier players in singles and teams, or is it because usually if you get 8 right, you're rolling, right? You're on a good streak. You're going for it. You need to get this last one because the bonus point now is so important. And I think it shows in teams matches especially because you either get the bonus point because in order to stay tied with the person you're playing against, or the other person didn't get it and it just gives you 1 extra point to go in round 2 with, right? So you almost wonder if it's in the last couple of years too, especially it's because just the bonus point is just so crazy important now to get that grade.
Yeah, and I originally thought that maybe it's because of PJ Campbell and his writing staff. They're making they're not taking it lightly. They're making that difficult for people who are going perfect.
Right.
But the data seems to show that it's the normal rate, and it's because that when you have more matches or more rounds, that percentage is going to increase as well.
Right.
But if you make it, but Star Wars, yeah, it's going to be difficult with that because we're getting Star Wars level experts, not just movie experts, Star Wars experts who really are the only ones to compete. So that's kind of why only 1 miss per year is happening, is because they're just that good. But I don't want to rule out that PJ Campbell is taking it lightly. I think there is something to it, but I also think that there is a debate whether or not you are on a roll in what you're saying.
Yeah, very cool. And I always love it when doing this just because it's great to see it actually instead of just talk about it.
And we have Roxy Stryer back on the phone. Roxy, what do you think of my sexy numbers?
You had the sexiest numbers by far.
hear something funny? The mic wasn't on that whole time.
No way.
Yeah, for real.
Oh, wow.
So smooth.